if you were to discuss his achievements or his life, it will take you an infinite length of time. It's not his job. Why? Because throughout his life, from beginning to end, he was full of achievements. Some remember today, others are known to the general public, but many others obviously available for us to see in the form of the Kano Medugui realm and the Jos Medugui, the Jos Potiskum realm. Now, in order to make sure that we leave something for the archives, I prepared a small note, which I trust has been distributed or is being distributed, which is the highlight of the points I want to make. And so what I do is, in order to minimize time and to economize time, I'll simply just read out what I have prepared here. And so maybe you follow, but then there will be interjections of certain explanatory points from time to time as we read along. Alhaji Muhammadu Gana Idrissa was born in the year 1889. Time passed with majestic inevitability that mimicked the ineluctable swath of the universe. The arrival of British colonial forces in the year 1903 was a definitive timeline. The cusp of one era and the dawn of another. He was already 14 and old enough to recognize change. Subsequent events unfold in preordained succession. He was witness to them all. And as Emir from 1922 on, he sometimes played vital roles in attenuating whatever crisis some of them bred, or in facilitating the debut of the beneficial ones. World War I, the Great Depression of the 1930s, World War II, the debut of party politics, central and senior primary and other schools, clerical training center, independence, the general hospital. And then the sad events of January 15, 1966, the riots, reactions to the actions, counter-coup, civil war, reconciliation, reconstruction, socio-economic, political metamorphosis, the sudden demise of agriculture and of manufacturing in the wake of the oil boom, the power of import, dependency, status versus regionalism, and the contradictory melange of both, the debut of today, and the chaotic extrapolations for a way forward to tomorrow, full of the deepening cacophonies of contesting events with all their sound and fury. And the northern areas followed, beginning at Kaduna in 1931, Emir Muhammadu credited his look alongside other historical greats. Sokoto's Sultan Hassan al-Ma'azum, Borno's Umar ibn Muhammad al-Amin al-Kani, Sheikh al-Karimi,
there is serious complaint.
Kano's Abdullahi Bayero, Katsina's Muhammadu Dikko, and several other northern areas, all of them managing the delicate balance between change and continuity. Without them, the palimpsest of the northern narrative would be bold and bare, Hamlet in a way, without the prince. So, like them, Emir Muhammadu had one foot in tradition and the other in modernity. This was reflected in both the way he prayerfully clutched his rosary up to his final days in 1976 and in the way, even as Emir, he once drove his official motor car himself with valve. Those were the days when spectators in Bauchi and Jos stood by the highway side in awe to watch the scheduled passings of the dashing Emir to and from the Kaduna Northern Emirs meetings in the 1930s. Never complacent with the luxury power conferred upon him, Muhammadu actively ensured fairness in the distribution of the benefits of modernization. When the Potiskum Senior Primary School was founded in 1952, and when it transmuted into a government secondary school in 1967, when the Fika Community Secondary School was established in 1970, he insisted on the admission into them of qualified children, regardless of their ethnic, religious, or class backgrounds. Nor did the power he possessed blunt his clairvoyance of an economic alternative for his subjects during Nigeria's demanded indulgence in its oil boom. The Udoji salary increases of the early 1970s arose from the oil boom. The increases favored only workers. The bulk of the population, largely the peasantry, was economically neglected. Only workers and traders surmounted and survived the inflation caused by the increases. Back then, as undergraduates at university, we spooked at the ensuing oil boom. Our prognosis that oil had no future for Nigeria eventually panned out. Far ahead of his times, even then, Emir Muhammadu had sagaciously cautioned his subjects, most of them peasants, to stick to agriculture as if he knew that they had no future in the new oil boom. Agriculture, after all, was one distinctive economic activity whose modernization he had achieved with aplomb in the old Fika Emirate. His active promotion of all the annual agricultural show was Gana, in other words, festivals besides, the Emir's passion for agriculture dated back to earlier times. It all began in the year 1937. He had seen the ox-drawn plow at work on farms during his tour of Katsina and Sokoto provinces. During that year, an early and eagerly craved for its introduction in his emirate. Colonial authorities refused, citing financial and European staff shortages due to the Great Depression. The Emir met all conditions set by the colonial authorities. He persuaded the Fika native authority to sponsor a person with middle school qualification, namely his own son, Maina Bawa, to be trained in modern agriculture and forestry. Maina Bawa graduated from the junior refresher course at the School of Agriculture Saba, Zaria, and was back in Potiskum in February 1938. Where colonial authorities failed to supply basic tools, the Emir enthusiastically bought his own farming apparatuses, bullocks, yoke, chains and plow for demonstration for the Emirates farmers to copy. The Emir wanted widespread introduction of the plow. Colonial authorities refused. No farmer other than the Emir should start mixed farming in the Emirates, so they say. Due to the Great Depression, there were shortages of European staff, traveling fancy and time. Therefore, the agricultural officer could not afford a visit to more than one farm, namely the Emir's. On Monday, August 1, 1938, the Bauchi agricultural officer, a European of course, marked out a 10-acre farm for the Emir at Kala, Potiskum. And under Minor Bauer's management, Kala became the template for the subsequent spread of ox plow farming throughout the emirate. While the Great Depression was forcing children, men and women into long queues for daily soup and bread on the streets of New York, London and Paris, Emir Muhammadu was struggling full tilt to introduce the available technology of the moment for agricultural development in his emirate. By November 3, 1962, his 40th anniversary on the throne, ox plow farmers had reached 2,000 in the emirate. The Emir's fascination with modern farming was beyond plow and oxen. He coveted tractors. That helps explain his photographs beside one and even driving it during a visit to the United Kingdom. That also helped influence his son, my Abadi ibn Muhammadu, of blessed memory, who, after succeeding to the throne in 1976, became one of the most prominent mechanized farmers in Nigeria. As Minor Bauer took charge in 1938, he also soon helped found Forest with its thick neem plantations south of Potiskum. Unfortunately, Forest was completely decimated in the Kano Maiduguri highway construction that began in 2011. Due to Ibn Idrissa's endless tree planting campaigns, Potiskum became a garden city to behold. Well, by the way, I remember when we were in primary school in Nangere, and the year was 1964. I can recall it vividly. We were made to plant trees on the instruction of the Premier of Northern Region, and Emir Muhammadu ibn Idris led the way. He came planting trees himself, and we saw him do it. And so he imbued us with the spirit of tree planting at that time. Now, back to us. Due to Ibn Idrissa's endless tree planting campaigns, Potiskum became a garden city to behold. In retrospect, it poignantly reminds one of Johannesburg's Houghton today, or New Delhi's Lutyens Bangalore zone. Very thick, very beautiful, very vivid, green completely from afar, even from the air. Before you land at New Delhi, you will see and notice it glaringly. The same thing with Houghton in South Africa. Extremely leafy. The foliage is something to behold, just the way Potiskum was before. Back to our text. Now, but then absurdity and folly set in. The Emir, the great environmentalist, had to helplessly watch as almost all the trees were cut down in the name of street electrification wiring beginning in 1969. We were informed two at a time at secondary school here. The what they call senior science, secondary school, something like that. Senior science, Potiskum. Shorn of its enviable foliage, Potiskum became a bingy, the house of featherless chicken that it is today. A treeless conurbation of sorts. His progressivism, yearning for mass economic empowerment through agriculture, forestry, his promotion of education and religious devotion, his fear of God, all leave us to die with sober reproductions. Why don't we now actively replant trees to restore Potiskum's lost viridity? How about more serious legislation against wanton tree cutting and deforestation in Yobe state as a whole? Well, the law is already there, but how about more serious enforcement? Admittedly, our domestic firewood demands conflict with our forest preservation imperatives. Solutions exist though. Let federal and state governments get some clean energy means such as smokeless hexamine fuel tablets and resell them at subsidized rates to households nationwide, at least initially. Private entrepreneurs should gradually take over. Indigenous manufacturing of these tablets should subsequently attain adequate economies of scale for massively cheaper availability. This way, our forests will be preserved, desertification stopped. Nigeria's contribution to the solutions to climate change will earn us more global respect. All these will be legacies for which future generations will poignantly remember us, just the way we fondly remember Emir Muhammadu and Idrissa today. May he and all those who sacrificed themselves to secure our future rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
But let us imbibe their precepts in tackling the newer challenges of climate change and of our agricultural hunt for a more reliable economy than oil. Then Yobe, in synergy with the rest of Nigeria, could march triumphantly on. My